For those of you that aren't watching on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever else they show the video, if you're just listening, you wouldn't know. We're on Jeff's Fireporch. This is the infamous Fireporch.
Infamous.
It is.
It's an above average setting.
It is. I was giving a friend an update. We were catching up. We hadn't talked for a while, and I was like, "Did you hear about Jeff's Fireporch?" That's like one of the updates. I haven't talked to you in a year, and I want to tell you about the Fireporch.
Doesn't infamous mean like enemy? Doesn't it mean like something? We need producer.
We have someone on. James is here on a mic to
I thought like Hitler is infamous.
Help us out.
Hitler is infamous, right?
Yes, yeah. Infamous is a negative connotation.
So it's
you
not
can be famous or infamous. You don't want to be infamous.
So then, what's the right word?
This is famous.
This is the famous.
I mean, unless you're extremely jealous of it, and then it's infamous. Yeah, at that point,
it's. I don't know.
Anyway, we're on the Fireporch.
I'm still learning my vocabulary words.
We are on the Fireporch. I don't know how famous or infamous it is, but welcome.
Here we are, and we've referred to it as the Shire or Rivendell, where time passes differently. You come out here, and do you feel that, Jake?
well, that's true because I'm always late getting back for something because
you've been out.
Time has stalled.
Time is stalled.
Yeah.
In the best of way.
Yeah,
Right. And
totally.
so here we are hanging out on Jeff's Fireporch, and Jeff's in his rocking chair.
I am.
You're kind of.
I'm truly the old man on the porch right here.
Yeah, Gandalf over here.
I'm even growing my beard out. So
It's yeah. Well, today we're gonna talk about. I want us to. Well, first we got to catch up on what's happened since last time we hung out. It's been about a month, and you guys have any life happenings, things that happened since we talked last? I was some things going on in my life. I was skunked hunting. Hunting season, bow hunting.
You see anything?
And yeah, I had a huge buck like 10 feet away from me, and I missed. I missed my opportunity. I had my camera out. I was fumbling around trying to film it.
So you didn't shoot and miss. You just missed the window.
Missed the window, and I had a shot on another one. I missed. Well, I did miss that one. I'm understand. I'm having like, I wake up thinking about this big buck that I was fumbling around with my camera and phone because I wanted to film. I wanted them to see this, and they're like, well, a hunter told me, we'll just film it after you kill it, not before. So,
the evidence would actually be the animal.
Yes. That's right. That's how they did it in the old days. So anyway, and also this is a little cool thing. Drew's mom was basically raised from the dead. That was a thing that happened. We had talked about this a little while ago about Drew Stevenson. He's a pastor up at Redemption. His mom was in a serious accident, and she went home. That was
unreal,
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, when Mark and I
went
to her house here on Earth,
not her eternal home.
Yeah, that's the miracle part. Either would be a miracle, but no, Mark and I were called up there because we knew Sarah as well as her son Drew, their whole family, and when we went up there, it was mostly to console her husband and family, and be able to say our last goodbye to her at that point. That's how dire things seemed, and from an objective standpoint, certainly was as dire and catastrophic as we saw. And now, weeks later, she's walking out of the hospital, and so God has done an amazing thing, and give thanks to Him. I'm sure their whole family is entering into this season with just a whole new eternal perspective.
There was a cool story Drew was telling me. He said, Mom, you have, of all people, you have an excuse to get out of anything you don't want to do. Like, I was hit by a car and I was almost, killed. And she's like, no, that's not my identity. In fact, I'm going to go back to the Y and cross that same street where I was. And she's determined to just walk by faith.
Thank God.
And I was reflecting on that. What a cool, response, but cool fruit of faith
Yes.
is that you never have to live as a victim of something. And I just think there's freedom in that. It's that was instructive to me. That was so moving.
Huge.
So
Yeah,
great.
She's a
Great
she's a
story.
gift.
Jake, I was thinking about you. You probably had one of the most unlikely marital conflicts that I've ever heard of.
Oh man, I
You
want
want
to
to
hear.
hear this?
Yeah.
So here's the setup for it. Here's what's so unlikely about it.
Yeah, I think we were on the other side of it until you brought it up again. So thanks for that.
Just don't let her listen to this.
But
Episode. Let the rest of the world know.
I'm safe there.
She'll never
Maybe
listen.
it's like, wait, you guys do a podcast?
I know. Totally.
Yeah, Letha just found out about the podcast this morning. It's like, what are you doing today?
You're thankful for a wife who doesn't care too much.
Yeah.
About
Oh,
Yeah.
what you do.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but the unlikely marital conflict that they had was Arizona State and Iowa State played in a Big 12 championship game with a chance to go to the college playoffs. And, Jake, you played at Arizona State. Marcy went to Iowa State. And what's so unlikely about it is, one, those two teams have been in the Big 12. Number two, them playing for any kind of championship. I mean, no offense,
everything.
but yeah.
Yeah, it's our first year in that conference. And I was like, there was always like, if this matchup ever happens, there's because not only Marcy went there, but like her whole family is Iowa State grad. So that's not going to happen. Unless it's a bowl game and Iowa State really doesn't go to those. More so lately. I mean, they're doing well.
Yeah.
It's a great program. But yeah, we had the what didn't help is when you brought the game up, you're like, I'm cheering for Arizona State. And I was like, but you went to Iowa State. He's like, yeah, but you're my friend. You played there. That's awesome.
Aw.
So I went home and told Marcy that. I was like, well, Mark's an alumni, and he's rooting for Arizona State, which didn't help at all.
No, I didn't even move her an inch.
No, it's like, where's your loyalty? Is it your husband or your
Not even to Mark.
Well, I'm like, I went to Iowa State, but I didn't play at Iowa State.
Now
I mean, if you play, that's cool.
So she asked, well, if Arizona State was playing Nebraska, who would Mark root for?
Well, that's different because
See?
I'm from Omaha. It's like
that's
red
it.
is in the blood. It's just
There's a line in the sand somewhere.
You
it goes
grew
so
up like
far.
in high school. Nebraska was. I know it's hard for people to imagine that, but it's been a long couple decades for Nebraska fans. But in high school, we're going to 72nd and Dodge to celebrate national championships, and that's just it connects you to your hometown. Do you guys have stuff like that where you just we had our staff Christmas party yesterday, and there's 50 of us in the foyer around a table. And Dalton is kind of become the what's his role?
I don't know. He's always the one to ask the most intriguing question that on the front end you're like, oh my word, what stream of consciousness has hit Dalton this time? And yet it always works. It always is fascinating. Just a great conversationalist.
I think his spiritual gift is like giving the toast.
Yeah.
So that's always like, okay, Dalton, what's the toast?
Yeah.
But he's like, so we're going to go around and everyone's going to answer this question. What do you not hate about yourself? What don't you hate? Let's go around.
Can you imagine? There's, I think, 47 people around one massive, big, long table. And now they all know that they are going to singularly go one by one and have to answer this question. Some of the introverts are just sweating even at the thought of it.
And it was weirdly fun.
So great.
I was like, hey, I don't know. This is a risk. Should we not do this? Anyway, we did. We went around. And so think about it. What do you not hate about yourself? And so you're trying to figure out the right amount of levity and how serious or whatever it is. And mine was, I don't hate that I'm proud of my hometown, Omaha. It's like that's where I'm from, and there's something that connects you. And so for me, Nebraska.
So this added to the tension. I got a staff Christmas party thing to add to that as well. But because Marcia's like, I'm an Iowa girl. Like this is where I'm at. That's where I went to school, and it's like, all right. But then, like a week after, Iowa and Iowa State women's basketball is playing, and she's rooting for Iowa, and I'm like, wait a second, that's your alma mater. Like, what happened? She's like, well,
So she
just
has
like
somehow she was able. It was easier for her to make this switch.
she's
with Iowa
competitive.
basketball.
So I think any sign of like playful trash talking, she just dug in. But she in fairness, she was like, I'm just rooting for both teams to do well and not for anybody to get blown out. But that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I sat quietly. We cheered a lot on the inside. Mo was home, and he goes to Iowa State, but he wore ASU clothes all week, so he was ready to go. But
somebody's got to support that old pops.
So staff Christmas party, we just did ours, and we went to Spare Time in Cedar Rapids. It's like a arcade, bowling alley, laser tag, fun game. And we're out in the arcade playing, and there's that game with like the boxing bag that you punch, and it kind of changes your score. And one guy was excited about his score, and he's like, Jake, try to beat my score. So gracefully, I punch it, and then just biff it, fall down.
No.
Yeah. And of course, there's like 5 different cameras rolling as it captured it. It's graceful.
There wasn't even a real boxer on the. It was
No. I just fell. It was. I was
on
telling
camera?
Jake,
both my
have to
knees
see that.
are like scraped up, and I was telling Marcy on the way home, I was like, I feel like when an old person says I fell, like that's what happened.
Okay, we do have a producer in our midst. We have to get a clip of that inserted into this.
Yeah, we'll find that.
Oh, there are multiple angles of this shot that's happened.
But you did get up. It wasn't I've fallen and I can't get up.
I made it up. I made it up.
Are we getting?
But I
close
got up and I was like, that's enough. Let's go play something else.
You got a negative score.
like play something else. It's like cards or something, or what?
Yeah, it was one of those games you sit down and control. Like, where's Pac-Man at? Let's more my speed. Dude.
On our staff retreat, they had a Pac-Man. We do kind of take the staff guys to this Take the Hill, and they went to this lake house, and they had a Pac-Man, and Jake and I were grinding it. I was too sore. I had to quit. Anyway, all right. Well, so that all that happened while we were gone. What else? Yeah.
Wait, I was going to say the funnest part too is that the minute you thought of Omaha and Nebraska football and all that, my thing that I'm not ashamed of was also my hometown.
Osage.
But it's Osage, Iowa. So as it comes around, and it literally was, it's not like his answer spurred mine. Immediately I thought, I'm not ashamed of Osage.
Yeah.
As my grandchildren will find out at Christmas time, they each have a beautiful little gift in Kelly green and white.
The Green Devils? Is that what?
Green Devils, baby.
So you guys are both, the Sun Devils and the Green Devils. How do you feel about...
How about that?
How do you feel about...
What are the chances?
rooting for Devils?
Yeah.
Is that... You don't have a problem with that?
I mean, when you put it like that, we're like, what are you trying to say? Like, we're literally cheering for Satan, and it's my team. Like, it's a mascot.
It is funny though. When I was not a believer, growing up, and I remember there was a little group of parents that were trying to get the school board or whoever to change it to be the Green Hornets. I think was, and get away from, because it's a pretty. Depending on the mascot, there's the childish little impish looking Green Devil, but then there's the real menacing, like Duke looking guy mascot. So I'm just saying, now as a Christian, I look back and I'm like, man, maybe those parents had something.
It's not a mascot I would choose.
Yeah.
I mean, I do it turned to. I hate to make light of
exactly
real evil.
It makes it cartoonish or mythological.
Right.
Totally.
But
do they both carry do both your mascots have like a pitchfork or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And for a while, when people don't know that I played there and they see my car with a pitchfork sticker on the back.
Especially then when you dress like the mascot to preach on Sunday morning.
But isn't there something, I don't know, kind of, is it all bad to taunt the devil?
Well, except you're winning. Like when we played the St. Andrew Saints, and we always just crushed him. There's there's something not right about that, you know. So I'm just saying,
Feel good about that.
we're cheering the devils on, Mark. That's the deal. We're not taunting the devil.
Yeah.
We're actually cheering him on. So I don't know. It's not. If I lived there even now, I don't know that I would protest. But there's something legit there.
Well, what's the is it Wake Forest, the Demon Deacons?
Yeah.
that's the
Deacons.
combo.
Which is maybe more accurate of where their seminary has gone. Founding of the college.
Wow, true that.
Who else can we offend today? Who else should we make fun of?
And nothing gets put on the cutting room floor. That's all staying in the.
I mean,
They beat us in the Aloha Bowl too, so I'm
especially mad.
I don't.
Yeah. Well, so I want to ask you guys about Christmas is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have Christmas traditions?
Yeah.
You do? What do you guys do?
So Christmas Eve is a long day with all our Christmas Eve services, and Mars gets a bunch of apps, appetizer, chicken wings, pot stickers. And we get home. Like, as soon as our last service is over, like, we're home, pajamas, apps, and we watch a movie, and that's awesome to me. I love that.
Wow.
That night.
Do you guys have a movie?
No, I mean, we'll just pick a movie, watch, eat apps, and we just crash, but we crash together in the living room. And that's a fun time.
Wow. Do you guys watch old movie or a new movie? Or does it just change? Just
Whatever.
Yeah.
we pick.
Cool.
This year, I think. Some of that, the conflict is picking the movie.
Yeah,
is hard. But I think what's the new one that's out? Like the best Christmas pageant ever, or the worst Christmas pageant? I don't remember what it is. It's in theaters now, but you can get it early on Amazon. I think we'll try to.
Is that one of those Christian movies?
Like,
you know what I mean? They're starting to make Angel Studios is like making
I don't
movies
know.
now, and
Mars mentioned
You know,
it. Rudy
usually-
said yes. So I was like, all right, deal.
usually when it
That's
comes
it.
out in a James, do you know?
I think it is. Yeah, I don't know what studio
Yeah.
it is, but it's.
I've heard it's great, but
Yeah, I've heard
also
good things about it.
I heard it from my mom. So
Me too. My parents loved it.
Wendy and Linda
So is
loved
that a
it.
good endorsement or not?
solid endorsement.
Well, yeah. So there's some good options.
Yeah.
Jeff, what about you guys?
But we share the same as far as appetizers. It's not like a big meal as much as it is just this spread of every kind of goofy thing that everybody seems to love through the ages, you know, and now with grandkids and all that. So that'll be pretty fun. Now we're actually celebrating our Christmas with all the gang, all the kids, grandkids, everybody early. So in a few days prior to Christmas, but we'll still keep that same general tradition. But the cool thing is we're actually all going to be able to go to church together because we're doing this on Sunday. So it won't be the Christmas Eve service, but same kind of thing, you know. So, really looking forward to it.
Do you guys do any Advent things with your family, like family devotion type stuff? I mean, you're both pastors.
Well, hey, Mark, do you do any Advent things with your family?
I wouldn't have asked the question if we didn't do anything.
Like, my heart goes to this defensive posture. Like, well, we pray before we eat. You know?
How's that going for you, Mark?
How's the pagans do that?
How's that? Oh man! Even
This is
the devils do that.
This is the average pastor thing where it's like there's three of us and one of us does Advent devotions, so it's a little below average on that. We can't even hit 50%. So it's,
You're talking
it's
about
all,
as a family, not individually.
as a family going through it. Well, or personally. I mean,
sure, personally, but we don't circle up as a family to.
yeah, but well.
Do you have the
my
little
wife was
calendar and you
frustrated,
pull the little?
because it was when the kids were little, and it was just frustration over, hey, we don't have any traditions, and we need something. We need something to kind of center us as a family.
Yeah,
so
appetizers.
Wings.
So I went to the hobby store and got some. Is it flannel graph? Is that the old go to the old basement of my grandma's Methodist church, and they'd have the flannel graphs, and I did it. We got a book some old book that's out of print, and it's just takes you through the days leading up to Christmas, and has a little devotional, and you read the scripture, and you memorize Isaiah 9:6. To us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. So we say that together. We go through the Advent thing, and we stick the little you put the little gift up, or the trumpet, or the little Bethlehem.
You still
symbol.
do it.
We still do it.
That's
all
amazing,
these
because
years.
we did that for years. My mom even made with the flannels that had little snaps that you could snap the things.
That's
and
advanced.
The little pockets.
Ours are
yeah,
just
very
like little
advanced.
Velcro things.
Very, very advanced.
So yeah,
do you
I came
do-
from Osage, but you still do it, even though your kids are.
yeah, they love it. And
That's awesome.
If one of them that has moved out comes back, they'll sit in on it and
That's awesome.
and love it. I will say it's getting. We're still doing it, still committed to it. But the other night, for our director Christmas party, Savannah was at home alone doing it by herself.
Hey,
The most
faithfulness.
neglected.
She's committed.
She
Not gonna
is.
miss it.
Yeah,
She is. Yeah, let's make it positive. She's committed. It's not that she's neglected. She's committed and faithful.
Though none go with me, I still will follow. Like, she's committed. She's
Though my
so good.
parents won't go with me, still I will.
that's right.
She's holding the line back home.
That's
She's
cool.
child
Racing.
number 6.
So do you do
she-
family devotions outside of Advent?
Are you trying to guilt trip me?
I'm just asking a question.
You started it.
Hey,
We tried. When the kids were young. Now we have frequent spiritual conversations, but we tried do a family devotional time where it was chaos, because it's like, sit down, we're gonna read. Kids were goofy; they weren't listening. Marcy was laughing. I was just getting frustrated.
Oh, totally.
Like, how can I stand up and teach everybody at church, but my own family's just laughing at me? And our kids were pretty little, so not my finest moment as a dad, but I just went full ornery. I was like, all right, new Bible story. We went to the 7 sons of Sceva, where the demons beat up the guy naked, and I just did that story, and I was like, kids, demons are real. Go to bed.
Was that your last one?
Yeah,
That was the
just like-
mic drop. Never doing this
It was
again.
not great.
Well, I could always tell when my dad, growing up, my
Yep.
dad would. I always knew when Dobson was covering family devotions that week, because
100%.
Dad would come home. He had a sales job. He's on the road. He comes home. It's like, all right, kids, we're doing the devotions. I'm like, oh, great. He's been listening to Dobson again.
We took it down to one day a week. We do family breakfast, and even that would often, disintegrate into either laughter or disinterest, and then I'm mad, and there's just no spiritual thing going on when I'm trying to wrangle his family. Anyway,
A lot of the families that I know, I don't have a huge sample size, but some of the ones that were most committed to family devotions had the most dysfunctional families.
wow.
I don't know how that.
Well, I mean, I
because
think
it's
there is a
sometimes-
sense of overcompensate. Like, there's a frustration of just daily in and out life for God. So it's like, we're gonna do this right. Like, this is one thing I can control.
It's hard though,
Okay,
man. I
yeah.
want to commend the ones that do figure out a healthy way, because in our own personal lives, it's not just virtue signaling to read our Bibles every day, pray every
No.
day. So if you can pull it up, or even my
Totally.
thing is, even if there are seasons that you do it together as a family, I'm
Like,
like,
just for Advent,
good on you.
maybe.
Or honestly, just even Advent, if you
Totally.
just pulled it off like that. But for us, I would have to say it did disintegrate. It was not a spiritual moment for me. I didn't pass that on to the children. It was way better to have those.
That was a-
And
ongoing.
not saying that families that do that do this, but my fear is compartmentalizing. Like, we go to church and then it's isolated from the world. We do our family devotions and it's going to isolate from the
So
rest.
that's what I'm
So
talking
rather
about.
like a Deuteronomy
Right.
6 of, hey, as you get up, as you
Ongoing.
walk, like constantly talking about
That
it.
was a moment. Drew and I always laugh because Tim Keller was speaking at. It was like a Q&A thing, and a question came up about family devotions, and he's like, "Oh, the best thing I did to lead our family spiritually was to stop doing family devotions." Is there like that, or it was something like that, or he was talking about? If that's true, about or he
Dude,
was
Drew
talking
is
about
like a guest
The guest
He's like
player
the
that's
guest.
not here.
Yeah, he's like the guest pastor that we always.
We need to get Drew.
Why don't we just have him join us sometime?
We will. We will.
Anyways, sorry.
We will.
Keep going with
So-
the story though.
So yeah, but or just shortening it or doing. I mean, it was something
Yeah.
because I do
true.
think Deuteronomy 6 it's the everyday life. That's the thing you want is your whole life is a devotion. Like your kids, kind of walk in and find you on your knees praying, or they see you reading your Bible. I do remember that about my dad. Is I remember he was reading. He had this big old, probably a Ryrie study Bible, and I'd come in every morning and he's reading Luke, and he'd be like, "Hey, he would just start reading out loud." And I remember as a kid reading through Luke. So that was his whole life was,
Or just Deuteronomy 6. Even just those moments are beautiful, but also just talking on the way. You know what I mean? It's just that idea that you're just talking about. It's not the moments, though. Those are beautiful. Is Jesus and the walk with Jesus is part of the routine of every day and every part of every day, not just capsulized or whatever into a moment. But
I think another example of that is like the sex talk. The more
You just talk about sex all the time.
maybe we will do some editing.
I don't know where you're going with this. Jeff's like all the time when you wake up.
I don't think Deuteronomy 6 is about that, Jake. I don't want to correct here.
Well, he just connected. He's like, yeah, with the sex stuff. I'm like, I don't know where this is going.
This has hit such a below average podcast episode. I don't know if we can
let me try to save that one. The more you try to compartmentalize that talk to a moment and build it up, what you want is to make that conversation normal by not waiting till they're, right before their 13th birthday to take them out and have the big talk. And it's like, no, you just... Okay, that's what I was talking about.
That makes
the
sense.
idea of a
It totally
devotional
makes
being a compartmentalized moment in time. I don't know.
I feel like the middle schooler that keeps giggling as he's giving the
Hey, this is like me trying to lead a devotional. You're the kids now. Over here. Come on. Jake, pull
I'm
it
just
together.
picturing Mark picking up somebody from soccer practice. Just like, well... somebody pull us back.
Oh, look at the time. I don't know how many people are still listening at this point.
This is shocking. I got to tell you guys, I am shocked at how many people listen to this. Like now it's a pretty small sample size, but people will be like, "Hey, I listened to hey, I really loved listening this week. Love the conversation." Maybe I'm embellishing that a little bit, but hey, listen. It was just,
or maybe it was
surprising.
just I listened to it without any love,
let it sit there.
or enjoyed.
Great, changed my life. I think that's what it's.
Okay, do you guys have any guesses on how many people? I don't know how they measure this number, but reach of this podcast. How many people have been
listen?
reached?
This is
this podcast.
Sorry,
what's the over under here?
Okay,
Man,
I'm thinking of your church size, our church size. 'Cause that's probably
Wait,
our
but
audience.
last
is our
time we
people.
talked, you had people in Veritas Cedar Rapids didn't even know about it.
That's true.
Have you ever announced it or
No.
put it on your social media or anything?
No.
So nobody. Okay.
Wait, have we?
Well, it was on our social media at one point. It was the first podcast.
See, we are better than
Okay,
you
hey,
guys.
this is a better question. Total plays, total just plays.
Okay, so
Okay,
over under on
because I don't know
total plays
what reach is.
Well,
but
okay, just guess without
start.
everything.
of all the episodes.
Just
yep.
a number. Just hit one number. Just what's your
Over
guess?
Under 200.
That was going to be my number. Yeah,
I gotta
I'm
go.
going with Jake. 200.
I'm going
listeners.
150.
No. Were you going over or under? So you're going under. Are you going
Yeah.
over
Wow,
200?
man, I really don't want to feed your guys' ego here. This is I
It's
should not have brought this up. No,
I'm going to
it's
say 175.
Oh,
it's
All right, because of James
okay.
coming,
1,476 people.
no.
Plays.
No way.
Does that count
1,476
like
total.
if somebody accidentally hit play and it goes
Yeah.
a couple seconds? Okay.
And they thought it was
So
Dobson.
This
How
counts.
many people listen to the whole thing?
How many people?
Now we're
listen?
into the single
That's
digits.
a great question. I don't know.
Wow.
Smokes. Consumption
Okay,
hours,
now I feel-
174 hours.
I'm feeling like we should take this a little more seriously.
Don't do that. People, your numbers will drop.
We should start.
We got to bump these things.
We should start thinking about what we're going to talk about ahead of time.
Actually, that's the first time I've looked at this too, so I'm
That's
honestly surprised.
I am
Well,
shocked out of my
So-
mind.
If you okay, never mind.
well, this morning on the way in, I was someone asked me, "What are you talking about?" Like, well, we'll find out. And here's my question: if you prepare ahead of time, if it was like let's kind of script it out a little bit, or at least skeleton this thing, make sure you have time to prepare answers and all that. Is it a real conversation then? Do you feel like
That's fair.
that takes away from, like, if you're really saying, we're just friends having a conversation, but then it's kind of over planned and scripted and whatever. Does that cheapen what it is? Or do you feel like, well, no, I mean, I think there's a place for that for sure. Right. I mean,
Sure.
politics one, I was able to give some thought to it before then, but do you feel like for this that would cheapen, or would you say no, that actually could be good to give a little more thought to it?
I mean, it's wise to think before you speak.
Wait.
wait a second.
Say that again.
But that doesn't equal scripting it out. I
Yeah.
think if it's a script out, just here's the points I want to make. I think we want to have thoughtful conversations, and we bring our thoughts to it. But I don't know what your thoughts are, so it's real interaction in real time.
I like the fact that it is Socratic in the sense that we're feeding off each. We're actually listening in real time. It's not that we all have something that we want to drop and we're just kind of waiting for our moment to give our spiel. You know what I mean? There's a real Socratic part to this, that the conversation is moving and growing in real time as we both listen and then contribute.
Mm-hmm.
So there is something beautiful about that. I appreciate, though, that normally we have some North Star. We've got some subject on the table that we're heading toward. But I do actually really enjoy the live movement of the thing without too much prep going in.
What's the North Star today?
Well, we'll get. We're already headed there.
Oh.
That's great. When you don't have a target,
We're almost there.
But
Somebody knows what it is.
there is no there yet.
We're in the orbit already of the North Star. You just didn't know it. It was such a smooth sailing vessel. Wait, where are we?
We are hitting it. What do you think is key to a good conversation? What makes a good conversation? Like, if you think about, if you're just trying to coach up say one of your kids or somebody, you're just really teaching them about conversation and how to relate and just generally what makes a good conversation?
Thoughtful insight and good listening.
What's good listening? What's that mean?
Well, for thoughtful insight, it's always a good conversation when you feel like the person talking has good understanding of the topic that you're getting informed with. And then good listening is I'm genuinely hearing what that person's saying rather than thinking what I'm going to say when they're done talking.
Mm-hmm.
So you, like, probably just saying, I've heard this somewhere, but yeah, just don't get good at answering questions, but questioning answers. Like, what did you mean by that? That would be like an active listener is good at drawing out a game of tennis. Someone hits the ball to you, hit it back. What I think questions, being interested. That's one thing for this that you ask. If you are good at asking questions in conversation, people will think that you're the most interesting person they've ever met because they get to talk about themselves the whole
There's
time.
an over-application of that makes for a bad conversation. And that's when you just try to out-question each other. Where it's like, how was your day? Well, how was your day? It's like, What have you been up to?
You never get
What
anywhere.
have you been up to?
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
But I think that what you're talking about with listening, that's just a deeply
Yeah.
anchored biblical, the Shema, the whole, kind of foundation for Jewish worship is based on the Shema, which is the Hebrew word listen. And then you go to Proverbs, that word listen is just replete throughout the whole book. So much of wisdom, so much of gaining ground spiritually is on listening. So yeah, when we get too good at, depositing truths or depositing opinions into conversation instead of actively listening, that really
one of the
crushes it.
most infamous Jeff moments.
Infamous.
Infamous again.
I'm using it this time. I learned a new vocabulary word today.
Now you're going to use it.
I'm
going to
use it
appropriately.
One of the infamous Jeff moments is early on in ministry. Paul Sabino and I have multiple moments with Jeff of him pulling us aside and just having that kind of
It's true.
pastoral moment of, hey, there's someone I want to talk to you.
You
about.
went too far.
Yeah. Well, Paul and I were always forever in staff meetings, just getting in trouble. And Paul is one of the funniest guys
funny.
you could ever know.
Dangerously funny.
Yeah,
we
we
got
got
to
to find that line.
Yeah, we got to get Paul on here sometime. But anyway, Paul, the moment I'm talking about. Jeff pulls him aside. Every time you say Shema, I think of this moment. and Paul gets pulled aside by Jeff and like, hey, Paul, I want to talk to you about. And takes him to 1 Kings 3, and I think that's where Solomon is the Lord's going to give him anything.
Yeah.
And he asks if there's one thing, and what is he?
To get an understanding heart, like a discerning, listening heart. It's based on the word Shema. So of all the things he could have been asking for at that point, the life of all of his enemies or riches or whatever, he says, I really need to lead well, so give me a listening heart.
Yeah. So we say Solomon asked for wisdom. Well, technically, yeah, he asked for a listening heart. Mm-hmm. And anyway, so that was that's infamous, right?
Is that okay? Remember,
Yes.
Paul, we're sitting because we were by Ryman Garden in my car as I'm having this conversation, and he's getting his sandwich all unwrapped because we're just gonna have a quick bite to eat and then walk. And he's got his sandwich right here. And as soon as I started reading the verse, I just remember he just slowly puts the sandwich down and folds it back up.
It's you want to if you get rebuked by Jeff, it's always a thank you, sir. May I have another moment? Because you're just like, that was so life-giving and kind, and I want to learn. Yeah, it was good. So all right. Let's do this. Let's do a quick year in review. This is kind of right before Christmas. So looking back on the year, what are some big picture reflections that you have? And I thought of a way to do this because sometimes it's just hard to think about. We had this epic moment in Colorado on backpacking trip. That was one of the highlights for me. Backpacking trip, backcountry hiking, and at Thanksgiving, one of the people on the trip brought it up as something they were thankful for this past year, and I realized I hadn't even thought of it. I forgot that even happened. So sometimes it's hard to remember. So here's a one way we could do this in looking back is do a little camera roulette. Look at your camera roll, like a camera.
That would require that we
some
take
tech
pictures.
understanding of.
Okay, so here's what you do: grab your phone. Look at your phone.
All right.
You need your phone for this.
Okay.
And just scroll back on the past year. I'm gonna call out a month, and you say, so go back to January 2024. Okay.
How do you do that?
Well, just can somebody show this guy? Look.
Okay, I
Jake,
see the date moving when I.
Yeah. I see the date moving. You can find. Look at the bottom. You can find years, months. See that?
Are we gonna go? Are we each gonna do one a
No,
month?
just go roll with this.
Okay, I got mine.
So go back to months. Okay, now go back to you go back to January 24. All right. Okay, just quick scroll through and find one thing that from there that just pick picture and like what is it?
Yep.
So sometimes
I'm
you
ready.
can remember what happened when you look back on the month like that. Okay, so Jeff, you got one?
Teresa and I got to go encourage a lot of the workers that are over in Southeast Asia doing mission ministry work and
Nice.
spend time with them. And then
Wow.
it's rare that I often travel to Africa alone and that kind of thing. So we got to go do this together, watching Teresa meet with them, a lot of the gals one-on-one, and having that truly sharing in ministry for days on end with some people that we love. And it was fantastic. Yeah. Admire the daylights out of all those that are serving over in Southeast Asia. So
Wow,
that was
cool.
January.
I'm seeing a lot of pictures of snowstorms. I think my son has a snowing business. Yeah, we did a lot of snow removal there. So,
Yeah.
what'd you have, Jake?
In January, I got pictures of Keystone Church. It was my first time in their building. I think I spoke at a 3-day thing they did, and
Cool. Yeah. February. What you got? Anything, Jeff?
This is dark but really significant. So our dear friend Jill that found out that she had cancer and was not going to have long to live. I got pictures of us going over to see her back in Ames, and it actually shaped me in monumental ways. Still miss her very much, but that was a big part of that chunk of February.
Wow. Jake, you got anything?
I
February?
don't think I have anything in February.
You got no pictures from February?
Take a lot of.
Jeff, do you remember? We were just talking about this that day in February last year. It was like 70 degrees, and you had the big party out here on the Fireporch.
Fun.
You had like 100 people back here.
It was going to be
insane.
70 degrees. Yeah, I was meeting people I'd never met in my backyard as I'm handing them burgers off my grill because word just kept spreading, and it was like this midsummer party in our backyard in February.
That's
that was
awesome.
so fun.
I got a picture of me hooked up to I had like heart monitors.
Oh,
I was having some heart stuff.
Yes,
Remember that,
dude?
And it turns out it was nothing.
Oh my
but it
word,
was just
totally
I
forgot
think it
that.
was just stress, anxiety. Isn't that weird?
Holy cow! I forgot about that.
So thank the Lord for that.
Man, but in March we went down and surprised Paul Sabino for his 50th birthday.
Yes. Oh yes. Pictures of St. Augustine.
We end up there in midnight. He comes out in the driveway. We pop out of the bushes. He has no idea that we're even coming, and that was a really fun.
We
moment.
spent, was it 3 or 4 days?
Yes,
and I
not
just
very
feel
long,
like every day we woke up, just sat out with the
man.
coffee, and it's like the day, it just seemed like it got dark on us. And
yeah, totally.
Just the
So
time
great.
was so special. That was sweet. Jake, you got any March pictures?
Yeah, we went on a trip with my folks and brother's family for their 50th anniversary. So it was a good family trip then.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right. What are we in April?
Mm-hmm. Let's see where we at.
It feels like I've learned new tricks here.
Dude, let's see here. Yeah, it's tough because you're looking. Feel like I'm missing some pretty big things, but the pictures are small, so it's hard to. Yeah, this is I wrote up to a note. This says verse of the day in Savannah's handwriting. Verse of the day: in the morning when I rise, give me Jesus. It's not really a Bible verse, but. Look at that. Verse of the day: in the morning when I rise, give me Jesus. Is that
You need to work on your family devotion.
I was still a proud dad.
Yeah.
That's yeah. All right, what do you got?
April?
March. Okay, we're into April. Let's go April. What happened in April?
We do our elders and wives retreat every April, so I got some pictures of that. We went. It's a good time.
Yep, I got pictures of lawnmowers and stuff, so that means lawn mowing season started. Another son's business begins.
We did have a really sweet elder retreat in April and ended up here actually on the back porch, but we went and visited the where Veritas started meeting before it became Veritas, and officially or whatever, and that kind of thing. And I think that was April, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Cool.
So that was good.
All right, now we're into May.
I got no shortage of pictures in May because that is the month my grandson was born. So we got a lot of that.
Nice. Wow. What a what a gift. That is that's a beautiful moment.
I'm realizing that I leave my phone unattended a lot, and my kids get on there and take like 50 pictures of themselves. And
what do we got for? Let's see. What else? May. I mean, what did we? Oh, our Take the Hill was in May. I got a picture of all of us. The paintball war. That was. We had Bob Coons and Greg Truman served us like the most amazing meals. It's the best I've ever eaten in my entire life. It was a taste of heaven for a few days there. That was
how many courses was that one night?
Dude, it was like 11 course meal or something crazy.
Amazing.
That was good. All right, now we're into June. What do you guys got for June?
So we had a neighborhood owl that we all really loved, and we'd have sightings. We'd be texting each other, and the owl got biffed by a car.
Oh no!
Landed on the curb over here. So I went and got it because it's such a noble creature that I went and brought it, and I buried it in my backyard, but under a tree. Before I did, I clipped one of the wings off. I might get in trouble. There might be DNR involved.
I'm gonna filter this story
because it's so beautiful. I wanted to show people how beautiful and majestic and creative this wing of this owl is. So I have it here on my back porch, and the owl is buried just behind you, actually, Jake. So anyway, that's what I've got pictures of.
I got a picture of me and you, Mark, Paul, Wally, and Jordan Broda playing pickleball.
Yes, at the Salt.
Which it's such a funny memory because they're all pretty decent pickleball players, and I happened to be there, and they included me. But if I heard one more time, that's the right idea. I guess
unlucky. Good try.
Yeah, no, it was always like, oh, right idea, Jake. Right idea. Like I
got robbed, Jake.
When it comes to pickleballs, I got a bunch of great ideas. I just can't execute them to actually land right. But that was a fun time.
All right, we're powering through July. That was
That's Zambia.
Yeah.
Zambia. It's incredible.
Oh my goodness. That's
all together.
The three of us in Zambia. We've talked a lot about that trip. So there's a lot to be said, but we'll move on.
Got to meet Baby Jeff on that trip.
Baby Jeff has been on 3 episodes now. That's great.
Keep him going.
And August, what? August. That was the Colorado trip for me.
We went to Wisconsin family vacation, and I got a picture of my dad, myself, Mo, and Obi. So 4 generations of each boys on a dock on a lake in Wisconsin.
Cool.
Yeah.
One of my favorite August memories, we do grandparent camp. So we had all of our grandkids together. And I took the grandkids, the littles, especially to Bluebird Diner. And they all got whatever they wanted. Everybody in the restaurant was pointing and laughing because they've got like these massive cinnamon roll French toast. There's just sugar and everything everywhere. So I've got pictures of all my grandkids just scarfing down. That's awesome. It's terrible.
September. We're in September. I got a picture of my son with the owners of this house. He bought this house from this old couple. It was pretty sweet. But little did I know that would be the next couple months of my life of painting and installing new flooring. And so that was that's great though. That was our September. Jeff, Jake, anything from September memories?
Yeah, I got a picture of some German pancakes coming out of the oven. Because it's our fall tradition where we do German pancakes and watch College Game Day every Saturday morning in the fall. And Mo is not there anymore, so I was rubbing it in, taking pictures and sending it.
Oh, nice. Dude.
You watch College Game Day every Saturday?
Yeah, with German pancakes.
Nice.
Yeah,
Those are traditions. You may not do devotions, but you're committed to the pancakes. All right. So October. What do you got? Oh, this is a highlight from my year. My son Jet got baptized in October.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Isn't that cool?
That's really
It's
beautiful.
awesome. It was a highlight of the year. So cool. So just seeing your kids make decisions for Christ is pretty awesome.
That's great.
So that's October. Okay, let's move on. November. We're almost done. We got to power through this. This is kind of. We probably won't do this again. This isn't that interesting.
Listeners,
can somebody take notes?
Yeah,
Something we'll never do again.
Yeah, let's. Yeah, it was.
And here we are in December. And here we are in December. We made it to December, and this is the moment for December.
I got a November picture of a buddy on the field where you remember when ASU beat BYU and stormed the field twice because they went out too early. There's still 1 second, so they had to go off, and then they
had to go back again.
Yeah, a buddy of mine's on the field storming it.
Nice. Well, we made it through. It was a good idea. Just, but. Well, I think as you look back on the year, and as people look back on the year, how do you encourage people to think about God's faithfulness? And how would you encourage people as they look back, as they look back on the year, what's helpful for you as you just think about the year? I mean, as you reflect on God's faithfulness, do you have any habits of kind of taking note and remembering to is there a journal? Is there do you ever look back at old, journals or your Bible or I don't know. Is there anything helpful for you to just
seeing that I just learned that I can go back through the months? That's helpful because there was a lot of oh yeah, that happened this year. Yeah, so even that was helpful.
I think it's important. I think the discipline of looking back because that's what gives you the courage to look ahead and to be confident in Deuteronomy. How many times does it say remember, set up altars to remember God's goodness? And do you guys have any? This is going to be a quick one, just quick hitter. Going into the new year, any things you guys are wanting to master the restart on specifically, or?
No, I mean, we're doing a new Bible reading plan, and I've got in my mind the people that I want to include in that. So I'm actually excited, not just to restart a journey through the scriptures, but a specific group of people. So I'm excited about that.
Cool.
I don't know if it's a restart, but some resolutions or being more specific on things I want to accomplish in the next year. I find myself reading a lot, but setting a reading goal and then a writing goal. Like I need to write three days a week. Trying to be consistent on that.
That's I think every year for the last 3 years I've restarted Goodreads. This is going to be the year I do it.
Me too.
My kids got me on Goodreads.
Are you doing it?
No.
I did it. I did it.
They got me on it.
I was on it for months, and then it wasn't even like I trickled out. I just all of a sudden stopped.
It feels like I love the idea of it, and then I try to do it, and it just feels like it becomes like a reading social media. Like you're starting to write stuff. So how will people think about? Can I really give a true, assessment of a thing? Can you give me a quick? We're over time. James, how long have we been?
We're at 55 minutes ish.
Okay, let's land with this because I genuinely need some help. I need help in the candy aisle, right? Because I'm getting a little break from preaching. I'm preaching New Year's, and then I've got the holidays coming up, and I need some good stuff to watch or listen to. And so, you guys got anything? Just a quick walk through the candy aisle of. This is anything you're enjoying or doing?
Just like junk food type of entertainment.
Sure. Apps. It's apps.
Yeah. Give me some apps. You got anything?
Man, I'm trying to lessen my junk food.
Okay. Maybe like just stuff you're enjoying. It doesn't have to be junk food.
Oh, for me, I thought you were still asking him. Sorry. I wasn't a very good listener in that moment. Brandon Sanderson is an author of fantasy. And other than Lord of the Rings, I had never been reading fantasy. But now I'm on book 3 of this particular series that he's got. Yeah. He's building a whole universe, kind of Tolkien-like. It's not Christian, but it's clean. A lot of fantasy stuff tends to get either very dark or even sensual or combo of all this. But it's really exciting, incredible characters. Never had done fantasy, but I am pretty intrigued. I'm going to keep going. And each book is just a massive thing. So
Brandon Sanderson. Okay, yep. Cool. That's good. All right. Well, Jake, you're no help to me at all.
I got nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to find some documentaries. I've really enjoyed some. I told you about the Martha Stewart.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah.
The Yogi Berra one.
It's fantastic.
Dude, I'm conflicted because I started this show with some of my boys. It's called Arcane on Netflix. And it's a little, I'm conflicted a little bit because, well, one, it's like anime. It'd be like Into the Spider-Verse turned into like multiple seasons. It's got a great storyline. And I mean, even if you're not into anime, it's like, whoa, this is like a pretty cool world they've created. The stories, the, cinematography. It's not really, they're not film, it's anime, but still what they do and the creativity and the storyline, I'm shocked at how much I'm into it. But starting into season 2, I'm like, you're starting to see the undercurrent of some of the cultural things and stuff that I'm not loving about it. And so that's one that I would be so interested to have you guys watch it and talk about it, because it really, it shows, I guess, there's a lot of the current worldview that comes out in that form of entertainment. That would be a fun conversation to have about it.
It's funny, even when I bring up Brandon Sanderson, though I was completely unaware of him until a buddy pointed me in that direction. Now that other people have found out that I'm reading him, it is amazing. There's a little subculture of people that I'm finding myself getting connected with some dudes that, oh, you're reading it too? Oh, we should get together. And I'm like, oh, so it is kind of fun to all of a sudden stumble on something that is a little bit more of a cultural, I don't know, connection. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, who knows? Maybe you'll find that. I probably won't be on your bandwagon on that one, but go find your people out there, Mark.
I'm sure there's podcasts about this. All right. Well, that's all for today. Jeff, you want to sign us off? You got any closing words?
Man.
You got any just...
Oh,
yeah.
I don't have. How about just, man, welcome to the Fireporch. Come back again.
See you next time. Thanks for joining us.